Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be playing around in my Minecraft realm while I read some Reddit stories to you guys. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Also, if you have a story of your own that you want me to read, or maybe it's just one that you found online that you think would be an interesting story for me to read and react to, feel free to send it to the email down in the description. Anyways, I'll make this quick. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and let's go ahead and dive into our first story. Am I in the wrong for ending a first date early after a girl deleted half of a playlist I'd been building for years? I am still super upset about this, and when I was telling a friend about it today at the gym, he told me I was overreacting. So, this last weekend, I went on a first date with a girl I matched with on Bumble. We'd been texting for a little bit back and forth for a few weeks, and we had decided to meet up for drinks and then grab food after. Everything was going fine, and honestly, the drinks were awesome, and we were vibing hard, and she really seemed like a dope person. When we got in my car to head and grab something to eat, and I'm playing this playlist I've been carefully putting together for like 5 years now. It's a mix of stuff like SZA, Summer Walker, Frank Ocean, some of the Weeknd's softer songs, a few other similar artists, etc. A few minutes into the drive, she asks if she can look at my phone to change the music. I hand it over without thinking much of it. Next thing I know, I glance over and she's deleting songs left and right. I then notice that she's already wiped out a huge chunk of the playlist in a matter of minutes. Like, legitimately, half of it was gone before I could even say anything. I asked her what she was doing, and she said the playlist was too soft and not masculine enough for a guy. She started adding her own songs instead, and honestly, that really ticked me off. I told her to stop and give me the phone back. I looked at what she had done, and a bunch of tracks I'd spent years collecting and arranging were just gone. I pulled over, restored what I could from recently deleted, and I told her I was going to end the date here and drop her off at her car. She seemed surprised and a little offended, said I was overreacting and that it was just music. I still drove her the rest of the way, but the vibe was completely gone. She got out without really saying much. I don't know. I spent a long time building that playlist, and then she just started erasing it like it was nothing because she decided it wasn't guy enough. I didn't feel like continuing the date after that. Looking for outside opinions. Am I in the wrong? That story is now over. All right. I don't know about you guys, but who the heck starts deleting someone's playlist without permission on another person's phone? Like, I can't imagine going, just even with my wife, like if my wife was driving and she gave me the phone to change the music and I just start deleting songs off of someone's playlist. Like, even my wife, I would never do that. I cannot imagine doing that essentially to a complete stranger, like your first date with someone, and you just start going through their playlist on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever and just starting to delete songs off. That makes absolutely no sense. First thing I would do is look through the playlist and see if I can find a song I like. If I can't, then I'm going to just try to search it up. What the heck? Why would someone just do that? She totally overstepped, a boundary that I feel like not many other people would overstep, in my opinion. So honestly, I think it's good that the poster just ended the date then and there, didn't want to continue it. That's honestly more power to him because that is, in my opinion, that's just crazy. She was overstepping boundaries for sure. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I definitely don't think that the poster is in the wrong for this story, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and get into our next story. Our next story is titled All of My Creepiest Ghost Encounters at My House. Hello, everyone. I'm a little bored, so decided I'd talk about all the weird stuff that's ever happened in my house. For some backstory, when I first moved into my house, I was around 6 years old and started experiencing weird things when I was around 10. I asked my mom about it when I was around 17. She told me that when I was younger and we'd first moved in the house, she too used to be super scared. My mom used to work night shifts, so when she'd come back home, the house would be dark and she'd constantly feel like she was being watched. She said that her work uniform that she'd laid out for the next morning, when she woke up, it would be in a mess on the floor. She also used to have a reoccurring dream about some old man that she had never seen before. My mom had brought a priest in to bless the house, which, in my opinion, didn't work. Apparently, the people who lived here before me did a Ouija board and didn't close it properly. According to whoever came to get rid of the ghost, it was an old man who was simply having trouble crossing over and was trying to get attention from my mom, hence the dreams. Anyways, as I said, personally, I don't think the whole cleansing thing worked. I'm 20 years old now and still hear weird noises almost every night. I hear walking downstairs, calls of my name, and people talking when I'm home alone. Experience 1. When I was home alone and I was just chilling on my bed, watching some YouTube, I heard people talking about nothing of it and just assumed it was the neighbors or someone outside since I live on a main road. I have wooden flooring downstairs and I was hearing footsteps, so I paused whatever I was watching, but again, just tried to tell myself it was nothing, so I unpaused it. However, as I unpaused it, I heard something or someone sprint up the stairs so loud. Immediately, I thought, oh my goodness, someone's literally in my house, and grabbed the knife I keep in my bedroom and walked quietly to my bedroom door. I was holding my phone in the other hand, ready to phone the police because I was convinced that there was a real person inside my house because of how loud the steps were. Then turned out to be no one there, and I still don't know what that was. Experience 2. My brother and I went downstairs around 11 at night because we wanted a little late night treat. My brother decided to be rude, and outside of the kitchen, he said mimic 3 times. I remember saying, "Why would you say that?" And as he walked into the kitchen, both of us heard 3 taps on the kitchen door, and we both bolted. It was upstairs to my mom's room. I was 19 and he was 17, and we both ran to my mom. LOL. I remember literally shaking from how scared I was. My mom and brother went back downstairs to check, and of course, there was no one there. Experience 3. It was around 2 a.m., and I was laying in bed on my phone. I'm pretty sure I was the only person awake. I remember hearing a woman crying all of a sudden, super loud, and I thought it was my mom. I texted my mom asking if she was okay because I thought it was her crying in the hallway, but she didn't answer my text. I texted my brother too, just in case it was something he was watching, but he didn't answer either, hence why I assumed I was the only one awake. I asked my mom about it in the morning, and she said she heard it too, and it woke her up. I have so many more experiences, but these are the ones that scared me the most. That is the end of our story. Okay, first thought, story 3, woman crying. If that also woke the mom up, why did she not text the poster back? Okay, maybe it just woke her up and she decided just to go back to sleep and not text or not look at her phone at all. I don't know. The first thing when I do when I get up is I look at my phone. Maybe if I heard a woman crying, I wouldn't look at my phone at all. Who knows? But I feel like at some point between me getting up, realizing there's a woman crying, and being a little suspicious, I would maybe check my phone, right? That's just my first thought. So my sus meter is a little off on that third story, but again, whatever. But those stories, all 3 of them, very, very creepy. Again, I know I say this, I feel like almost any time that we talk about a scary story, when I read a scary story to you guys, I feel like every time, and again, it's probably because I'm just a scaredy cat, but it's the truth. I would be out of that house so fast. Like if one thing happened, okay, coincidence, maybe. But if like two, three, four, five, six things start happening and they continually happen and it's these scary experiences, I am telling you guys, I would be out of there so fast. Like maybe it's different when you're living in it, but just me reading these stories, I'm like, heck no. How are these people not out of there? Like, how did this girl grow up there and her parents and nobody had any fear or just like kind of brushed these things off? I mean, obviously they're scared, but continually just brush these things off instead of like trying to move out. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Crazy, crazy stuff. Anyways, let's get into our next story. Am I in the wrong for cutting off my new friend after how he behaved at my boyfriend's family cottage? My boyfriend and I, both 34, invited a newer friend named Jake and his girlfriend Emily to my boyfriend's parents' cottage for the weekend. We had hung out before without any issues. The cottage is essentially a country house, and we also brought our cat, who has been going there since she was a kitten. We checked beforehand that they were comfortable with her coming, and they said that they were excited. The problems started almost immediately. Jake repeatedly wore his shoes inside despite being asked multiple times to remove them. At one point, he tracked mud and goose poop through the house. When we reminded him again, he responded, "Yeah, whatever." We had divided up meals, with them preparing lunch and us handling dinner the first day. We arrived around 5 p.m. after they had eaten fast food and dessert on the way. Nobody was hungry, so we played board games. Around 7, I offered to make dinner, but they wanted to eat the lunch they had already prepared instead. We all agreed. After a bonfire and some s'mores, Emily complained around midnight that we never made dinner. The next day, Jake made a snide comment about preparing dinner on time being the proper thing to do. Despite saying they were fine with our cat, Jake sprayed her with a plant mister when she went near the kitchen or their bedroom. She became so scared that she spent most of the weekend hiding in our room. She also left the screen door open one night, and I caught her standing there looking outside. When I asked him to keep the door closed for her safety, his response was again, "Yeah, whatever." Jake also never helped clean. Emily loaded the dishwasher, but didn't turn it on and left the dirty pots and pans for us to scrub. On our last day before leaving, my boyfriend and I vacuumed, washed the linens, took out the garbage, cleaned the fridge, and loaded the car. Jake and Emily packed their things, abandoned food they didn't want in the fridge, and laid down on the couch for a nap. When we asked them to help, Jake said he was tired and wanted to lie with Emily. When we asked again, he said, "Yeah, whatever." I found the entire weekend incredibly disrespectful, especially considering they were guests in someone else's family home, albeit a cottage. Afterward, I stopped engaging with them and declined their invitations. My boyfriend has attended a few events with them, although he was also very annoyed by their behavior. He thinks I'm overreacting by not wanting to be friends anymore. In my opinion, they showed their true colors by disrespecting someone else's home, belongings, and pet after being invited to share the space, even after we addressed the issues multiple times. I don't want friendships with people who act like that. Am I in the wrong? That story is now over. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely don't think that the poster is in the wrong. They invited Jake and his girlfriend over for, some a vacation essentially at her boyfriend's cottage, and like she said, they kind of just were rude the whole time. I mean, were excited about their cat, but then sprayed the cat. If anything, if they had a problem with the cat, why wouldn't they have just said something to them, to the poster and her boyfriend, saying, "Hey, can you make sure you keep your cat out of our room," etc. Also, something that would really irritate me is them saying on that first night that, oh, we don't need to cook dinner. Like, don't worry about it. It's okay. And then going and complaining around midnight that they didn't have dinner when they originally had said that they were fine with eating their lunch. That would really irk me. That would bother me. I don't know about you guys because I feel like they're being hypocritical in a way of saying, "Oh, it's fine," and then going back on their statement essentially hours later. If you are hungry later, you need to be blaming yourself because you are the ones that told the poster and her boyfriend not to worry about dinner. And then it's kind of a backhanded comment to also mention, the next day that to have dinner prepared on time. So that is definitely very frustrating. I would feel the same way as the poster. I don't know if I'd want to be friends with people that are, in my opinion, kind of Debbie Downers, the yeah, whatever, every time they, ask, politely to not spray the cat or don't keep the door open so the cat can't get out and things like that. That would frustrate me. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I do not think the poster is in the wrong. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into our next story. Our next story is titled, I Have Become the Neighbor from Hell. Posting from an anonymous account because I understand that this shouldn't be what I have to do, but it is what it is, and has helped me reclaim some humor in this situation. I have lived above people literally all my life, starting from my childhood attic bedroom, upstairs dorm rooms in college, which I was an RA, and then a majority of years in my adult apartment. In all of those years, I have never received a complaint. I walk lightly, work throughout the day, and barely have guests over. I'm not a loud neighbor at all. Well, my current downstairs neighbor would disagree with you. It all started about 10 months ago when she moved in. Just some context here. I negotiated vinyl flooring instead of carpet when I first signed my lease 3 years ago. In the 3 years I have lived here with my vinyl flooring, I've never received a complaint or had a knock on my door at all, even when I had a couple with a baby living right underneath me. It began one day when I was deep cleaning, yes, more actively than usual on my end, but I was cleaning during daylight hours. I'm not a stomper, and I had my headphones on as I was moving around. Imagine my surprise when I sit down from a long chore and I check my Blink camera to see that 5 minutes ago that a lady had been spamming my doorbell and knocking on my door for a good couple of minutes, looking enraged. I think she thought I was ignoring her on purpose. My bad lady was just listening to music in my headphones while I was scrubbing the grout to my shower. I got up to start the dishwasher and she started beating on my ceiling. I just ignored it because clearly she was aggravated and I didn't want to enrage her. Plus, it was like 6 p.m. on a Thursday, so I can do my chores. Things just escalated from there. A week later, my family visits for about an hour while they're in town. My mom, two sisters, and 4-year-old nephew. My nephew was just running around enjoying my apartment. So, yes, a toddler running around and four adults in my apartment can cause a good amount of noise. But it was 4:30 p.m. on a Friday this time where she starts absolutely assaulting my floor, her ceiling. Like, she banged so hard that my nephew was startled and started crying and hiding in confusion. My sister calls the office, who in turn calls the lady. Then she comes up here and starts banging on my door. Imagine her surprise when I open the door and she sees my whole family standing by the door looking at her. She was wringing her hands, yelling, and seemed very upset. We apologized and sent her on her way. Again, that was just the start. Over the past 6 months, she has continued to assault my floor slash her ceiling on multiple instances, and at least four separate occasions, She has banged on my door so hard that it sends my best friend, who comes over sometimes, into a panic attack because of how aggressively she beats on my door. I have refused to answer since the time she assaulted my door for 10 minutes straight, and the only reason I answered that time was because this lady was banging so hard on my door that my neighbors on the other side of the apartment started banging on one of my walls, thinking it was me making the noise. That time, she used curse words, was rolling her eyes at me, wringing and shaking her hands. So, nope, no more door answers for her because I'm not about to fight anyone. My other older neighbor on the other side of the hall with three kids had her door propped open watching the whole thing because this lady was scaring her kids with how hard she banged that time. I called the leasing office the next day and told them everything. Leasing office told me to not answer the door and call the police the next time she knocks. She has since knocked 3 more times hard, and after the last time, the office told her to not knock anymore. So now she just beats on my ceiling like she's getting layers of dust out of an ancient rug. My friends, myself, and my family no longer feel I can live comfortably up here out of some sort of level of fear or anxiety about what that lady may do. So, cue now me becoming the neighbor from hell. I've decided to move because of this lady, and think what you want about me for doing this, but if I'm going to spend thousands of dollars and weeks looking for a new apartment and moving just so that I can get away from you, I'm going to make it as hard as reasonably I can on you. As I've been in this process, I have recorded her knocking on my door and made a remix out of it, including a 911 call she made outside of my door. These past few weeks, as I've been packing, I've been making all the noise that I can from the hours of 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. The other night, my sister and I did a full 360 with my futon in the middle of the floor and then ran and jumped in separate rooms right over the ceiling fans. If I'm going to be accused of it, I might as well do it. It helps myself and my folks laugh, even though this lady has caused so much trouble for us. Again, I'm not a loud or inconsiderate person. It's like she can't handle hearing me live life above her. The times when loud things happen were literally a month apart and lasted no more than an hour. It should not have warranted her so aggressively and persistently harassing me in my home. So, hi guys, I'm now the neighbor from hell, at least until Wednesday. That is the end of our story. Honestly, it sounds like that neighbor is getting what she deserved. It sounds like she was complaining, freaking out, crashing out on this our poor poster for having normal things occur, whether it's cleaning, walking, having people over. These are normal things that are going to happen in people's life. This is your home, right? It seems like this neighbor wants absolute silence from you, which is just crazy to me. So honestly, good for the poster. This neighbor sounds unhinged, and honestly, she deserves what the poster is giving her now. She deserves, hearing the poster jump and move futons around and be as loud as she can late, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, because honestly, that's what she's complaining about. So you might as well get it. So that sounds like fun. And at least, you know, the poster probably feels like the rude neighbor is getting the karma that they deserve. So good on them. And anyways, I hope that she gets to enjoy her new apartment where she doesn't have to feel like she's living on pins and needles with a crazy lady underneath her. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments about that story. That is a pretty crazy one. Alrighty, guys. I think that is going to do it for me today. Again, I appreciate you guys always, especially if you've made it this far, for tuning into my videos. It means so much to me that you come and watch my videos in your free time. Or maybe you're at work, or maybe working out, or doing something else. Who knows? But regardless, it means so much that you take time out of your day to spend it listening to me. And I just can't tell you how much this means to me. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in to my videos. Like I said, I make these for fun, just in my free time when I can. And so it just means so much that there's people out there that watch these videos, and we're starting to grow a little bit of a community. It really does mean the world to me. I think we're at 360 subscribers as I record this video. So again, to all of you, whether you're subscribed or not, it means the world that you take time out of your busy, busy day to spend it with me. And last thing I'll touch on before I head out of here is if you have a story of your own, or maybe just a story that you found online that you think would be an interesting read, feel free to send it to the email down in the description below, and I'll get to it and read it in one of our upcoming videos. Anyways, guys, I love you all. Thank you again for tuning into my videos. It truly means everything to me. Alrighty, guys, I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.